There comes a time in every life when the question must be asked, not how much you have or how far you've come, but how hungry you still are. You see, the difference between those who settle and those who soar is hunger, not appetite, not wishful thinking, but hunger. Not wishful thinking, but hunger. A deep, burning desire to grow beyond your current condition. You can have the talent, you can have the resources, you can even have the connections. But if you don't have hunger, you won't keep it. Hunger keeps you sharp. Hunger keeps you alive. Hunger makes you get up when the comfort of the bed whispers to stay a little longer. It makes you say no to distractions and yes to discipline. Now here's something you might not want to hear, but you need to. Comfort is the silent killer of greatness. When you get too comfortable, you forget the pain that once pushed you. You stop stretching, you stop reaching, and eventually you start settling. And when you settle, you don't just lose momentum, you lose identity. You forget who you were becoming. Stay hungry for growth, for wisdom, for purpose. Don't let past victories put your present drive to sleep. You've got to remind yourself daily that you're not finished yet. As long as you're breathing, your purpose is still unfolding. Don't let life hand you leftovers when you were meant for the feast. You see, a man or woman who is hungry becomes magnetic. Life has a way of opening doors for those who knock with urgency. But the knock must come from hunger, not hesitation. The world doesn't give to the passive. It responds to the relentless. And let me tell you, discipline will show up when motivation walks out. And what fuels discipline? Hunger, that unshakable quiet fire inside that says, I must, and not I'd like to, and not I should, but a must. So if you're tired, rest, but don't quit. If you're discouraged, reflect, but don't give in. This journey requires more than talent. It demands spiritual stamina, and hunger gives you that stamina. Hunger says, there is more in me and I won't stop until I see it. Because in the end, success isn't something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. And the person you become depends on one thing: how hungry you are to rise, to serve, to matter. Stay hungry, stay humble, and above all, stay in pursuit. Hunger ignites purpose because it stirs something deep within us that comfort can never reach. When a person is truly hungry, not just physically, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally, something begins to shift. Hunger sharpens our senses, it awakens our awareness. It challenges us to ask questions we've ignored for far too long. What am I doing with my life? Why am I here? What am I really capable of becoming? You see, hunger is not about desperation. It's about desire with direction. A person who is hungry doesn't wait around for perfect conditions. They move, they learn, they fail forward because the hunger inside them refuses to settle for mediocrity. That hunger becomes the fuel for discipline, for creativity, for focus. You don't need motivation when you're hungry, because hunger becomes your motivation. Purpose doesn't appear in moments of ease. It's not born in comfort zones. It emerges in the struggle, in the silence, in the longing for more. Hunger is what causes a person to look at their life and say, this isn't enough. I was made for more than just survival. Be right. That statement alone, when backed by hunger, can change everything. It turns confusion into clarity, laziness into action, and fear into fuel. Without hunger, potential goes to waste. Talent lies dormant. Vision dies in the shadows. But when hunger wakes up, it sets everything else on fire. The else on fire. It ignites a purpose so powerful that excuses start to disappear. The hungry don't talk about what they're going to do. They get to work. They don't envy others. They extract lessons. They don't chase attention. They chase attention. They chase excellence. Hunger is what transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It's the difference between saying, I wish, and saying, I will. Once it takes root, it begins to refine your thoughts, reshape your habits, and realign your actions with your highest calling. Purpose by itself is a beautiful concept, but hunger turns it into a mission. Hunger turns ideas into execution. It doesn't allow you to sleep comfortably when your potential is still unrealized. So when people say they're searching for purpose, maybe what they really need is hunger. Because once hunger shows up, purpose won't hide for long. It rises up, ready to meet the one who's finally willing to pursue it with everything they've got. Comfort is the enemy of progress because it lulls us into a false sense of satisfaction. When things feel easy, when there's no resistance, no urgency, we begin to coast. And the moment we start coasting, we stop growing. Progress requires discomfort. There's no way around it. It demands that we stretch beyond what feels safe, beyond what's familiar, and beyond what we've already mastered. But comfort whispers that where we are is good enough, even if deep down we know it isn't. The greatest achievements in life never come from people who played it safe. They come from those who were willing to be uncomfortable, those who were willing to try, to fail, to learn, and to try again. Comfort protects the ego, but it paralyzes the soul. It tells you to avoid risk, to stay in line, to keep things the way they've always been. But progress, real progress, always asks for more. It asks for courage. It asks for change. It asks for the willingness to be a beginner again, even when you're used to being good. People who grow understand this principle. They know that pain is a signal not to quit, but to lean in. They understand that comfort might feel good now, but over time it quietly robs them of their potential. It's the soft pillow that keeps you from waking up to your purpose. It's the warm blanket that hides you from the cold truth that you were made for more. The longer you stay comfortable, the harder it becomes to break free. And the tragedy is, most people don't even realize they're stuck until it's too late. Progress happens in the stretch. In the tension between who you are and who you're becoming. It happens in the small daily decisions to choose growth over ease, learning over knowing, effort over convenience. Every time you say yes to discomfort, you're saying yes to your future. Every time you choose to be challenged, you're choosing to rise. So if you feel too comfortable, take it as a warning sign. It means you're not being tested, not being pushed, and not being sharpened. And if you're not being sharpened, you're being dulled. Comfort may feel like a reward, but too much of it becomes a trap. The path to greatness is paved with intentional discomfort. Choose it, embrace it, and let it lead you forward. That hunger fuels discipline because it gives you a reason to keep showing up when motivation fades. Discipline alone is mechanical. It's the routine, the repetition, the structure. But when it's driven by hunger, it becomes unstoppable. Hunger gives discipline its edge. It turns a routine into a ritual, a task into a mission. Without hunger, discipline eventually breaks down. You may start strong, but if there's no fire behind your effort, consistency begins to fade. You begin to cut corners, make excuses, and slowly drift away from the path. But when hunger is alive inside you, it pushes you to act even when you don't feel like it. It reminds you of what's at stake. It whispers in your ear during early mornings and late nights, saying, "You're not done yet. Keep going." Hunger doesn't allow room for laziness. It doesn't tolerate mediocrity. It demands effort, presence, and resilience. That hunger, whether it's the desire to change your life, take care of your family, reach your full potential, or prove something to yourself, becomes the reason why you stay disciplined long after the excitement has worn off. True discipline isn't about punishment. It's about alignment. It's aligning your actions with your higher goals. And hunger ensures that those goals remain vivid and alive in your mind. When you're truly hungry, you're not tempted by distractions. You're not swayed by temporary pleasure. You're focused. You say no more often. You delay gratification. You manage your time with intention because every minute matters when you're chasing something meaningful. People often ask how to stay disciplined, how to stay consistent, how to build habits. The truth is, it begins with hunger. You have to want it badly enough. Badly enough to sacrifice, to struggle, to show up when it's boring, when it's hard, when no one is watching. Hunger turns discipline from a burden into a choice. It gives purpose to the repetition. You're not just waking up early, you're building a future. You're not just working out, you're developing strength and control. You're not just studying, you're equipping yourself for impact. In the end, it's not talent that separates the successful from the average. It's hunger. And that hunger, when combined with discipline, becomes a force that reshapes your entire life. Dreams need urgency because without it, they remain distant hopes, floating ideas that never find their way into reality. Too many people wait. They wait for the right time, the perfect conditions, more clarity, or some magical sign. But dreams don't come true through waiting. They come true through movement, through action fueled by a deep sense that time is precious and opportunities are fleeting. Urgency gives your dream a deadline. It removes the illusion that you have forever. It pushes you to act now, not later. When there's no urgency, procrastination feels harmless. You tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," but tomorrow becomes next week, next month, and sometimes never. Urgency, on the other hand, gives you focus. It creates pressure. not in a stressful way, but in a meaningful way. It reminds you that life is moving and that your dreams won't chase you. You have to chase them. It breaks you out of passivity. It stops you from drifting through your days and wakes you up to your purpose. Urgency doesn't mean rushing blindly. It means you treat your dream like it matters. Like it's worth prioritizing over distractions, like it deserves your energy today, not someday. People who live with urgency are not careless. They're intentional. They don't let time slip through their fingers because they understand what's at stake. They know the pain of regret and choose the discomfort of discipline instead. A dream with no urgency becomes a wish, and wishes are weak. They fade with time, but urgency breathes life into your vision. It forces you to plan, to act, to grow. It makes you stop saying a one die and start asking, what can I do today? That shift in mindset changes everything. Even small steps, when taken daily with urgency, become powerful over time. You must remind yourself, time is not guaranteed. The window of opportunity doesn't stay open forever. Every day you delay is a day further from your dream. That alone should stir something inside you. A sense of responsibility. A fire to make something happen now. Because dreams don't wait for the perfect time. They wait for a committed heart. And when that heart beats with urgency, things begin to move. Doors open, momentum builds. And suddenly, the dream that once felt so far away becomes a reality you're living. Success is rented, not owned, because it's not something you achieve once and then keep forever. It's not a trophy you place on a shelf and admire for the rest of your life. It's a result of consistent effort, daily discipline, and relentless focus. Every day you have to earn it again. The rent is due every morning and you can't pay it in advance. What you did yesterday might have gotten you to where you are, but it won't take you where you need to go tomorrow. Too many people fall into the trap of thinking that once they reach a certain goal, they can relax. They believe success is a destination, but it's not. It's a journey that requires you to keep showing up, keep learning, and keep growing. The moment you stop putting in the work, the moment you stop paying the rent, success starts to slip away. It doesn't matter how talented you are or how much potential you have. Without consistent effort, it all fades. Think of success like a gym membership. You can't work out for 1 week, get in shape, and expect to stay fit without ever going back. You have to keep training, keep challenging your limits, and keep showing up even on the days you don't feel like it. Success works the same way. It's rented with sacrifice, with early mornings, with late nights, and with doing the hard things when no one is watching. The rent for success is also paid in humility. You never arrive at a place where you've learned it all or done it all. There's always room to grow, room to improve, to reach high. Success rented but never owned means you stay hungry. You don't settle. You don't stop learning, and you never take it for granted. The mindset of renting success keeps you grounded. It keeps you focused on the process, not just the outcome. It reminds you that consistency matters more than intensity. Anyone can work hard for a day, but champions show up every day. And when you live with that mindset, success becomes less about what you get and more about who you become. So keep paying the rent. Keep earning it. Because true success doesn't come with ownership. It comes with daily commitment. Hunger attracts opportunity because it changes how you show up in the world. When you're truly hungry for growth, success, impact, or change, it becomes obvious in everything you do. There's a fire in your eyes, a certainty in your actions, and a consistency in your effort that the world can't ignore. Opportunity is often invisible to those who are passive, but hunger sharpens your vision. It makes you more aware, more alert, more ready. The hungry person sees chances others overlook simply because they're actively seeking them. Opportunities don't just fall into your lap. They come when preparation meets desire. Hunger pushes you to prepare before the door opens. It gets you moving before the stage is set. That kind of energy attracts people, mentors, resources, and timing that align with your vision. It's not about luck. It's about readiness. The world responds to those who live with intention. And nothing is more intentional than a soul that is deeply hungry for progress. When you're hungry, you go the extra mile. You wake up earlier, stay up later, ask better questions, and take bigger risks. That energy is magnetic. People notice it. Leaders recognize it. Opportunities seek it. Because no one wants to invest in someone who's lukewarm. But someone who's burning with purpose, that person becomes hard to overlook. Hunger also builds resilience, and resilience is what allows you to keep showing up even after rejection, failure, or delay. That persistence signals to the world that you're not just interested, you're committed. You're not waiting to be chosen, you're preparing to be ready. And that preparation is what causes doors to open. You don't need to chase opportunity when you're hungry enough to build value within yourself. The right doors begin to appear because you've positioned yourself with discipline, growth, and effort. Your hunger speaks louder than words. It's reflected in your habits, your attitude, and your presence. In a world full of people who are merely interested, be the one who is obsessed with becoming better. Be the one who hungers so deeply for purpose that everything about you aligns with progress. Because when you're hungry, you don't need to beg for opportunity. It finds you. It recognizes the readiness. It responds to the fire. Hunger is the magnet and opportunity is what it pulls in. Spiritual and mental hunger leads to legacy because it drives a person beyond personal gain and into a life of impact. While physical hunger seeks survival, spiritual and mental hunger seeks significance. They push you to ask deeper questions, to pursue truth, to seek meaning beyond the surface. That kind of hunger is not satisfied with temporary success or fleeting recognition. It demands depth, purpose, and alignment. It shapes your decisions, your values, and your intentions. And over time, those inner choices form the foundation of the legacy you leave behind. When a person hungers for spiritual growth, they begin to live with integrity. They think beyond themselves. They ask how their actions affect others, how their work contributes to something greater, how their presence leaves people better than before. That internal hunger forces them to grow into someone worth remembering, not because of fame, but because of character. They don't chase applause, they chase alignment with their highest values. Mental hunger adds to that by demanding constant learning, reflection, and evolution. A mentally hungry person is never complacent. They never settle. They read, listen, observe, and ask questions, not because they want to appear smart, but because they want to serve better, lead better, live better. They are not threatened by new ideas. They are energized by them. The wisdom paired with purpose becomes one of the greatest gifts you can leave behind. Legacy is not built in a day. It's built in daily choices, and those choices are guided by hunger. Hunger to be better. Hunger to rise above ego. Hunger to create something that lasts beyond your lifetime. Whether it's through words, deeds, relationships, or creations, a person who feeds their inner hunger always ends up leaving footprints. Not just achievements, but values. Not just trophies, but transformations. Spiritual and mental hunger create depth. They force you to dig into the parts of yourself that many avoid. They demand you confront your weaknesses, your fears, and your blind spots. But in doing so, they forge strength, humility, and clarity. And those are the things that ripple into the lives of others long after you're gone. When you feed your inner hunger with purpose, you don't just alive, you build something eternal. You don't just succeed, you leave a legacy.